Hello everyone. Today we have Operation Floodgate 16 as a Master of Harmony monk. This one took me a while to time, but it's also an older video. As you can see, this is the route. Everything that we could have skipped, I wasn't able to because I'm not a night elf. So that kind of sucks. But these are the talents, kind of the same as I've been using in the previous videos. Not a lot changes. And as you can see, the gear here is a little bit different than the previous videos. I didn't have the crafted neck here to use, and I only had the heroic track improvised C4 pacemaker. Okay, so this first pull is pretty standard. Again, you run up here. I wait till I get around here, and then I roll forward, spinning J kick, just to get aggro and all of those for a little bit. Once I get their exploding keg, though preferably you want to get it on all of the mobs. But as soon as I get them all a little bit close together, I use Black Ox statue into the AoE taunt just to make sure that my aggro is like secured on everything, just so that none of the DPS die.
Watch your step.
As you can see here, I've already used 2 defensives. I used my trinket and I've used dampen harm, and I'm still taking quite a bit of damage. So I'm trying not to panic too much there, but I had to use Fortifying Brew. And Ring of Peace just to make sure that the melee don't hit me.
Watch your step.
I still have Block Axe Brew, which I used right there to get a Purify up. And that didn't go too smooth, but we did it. And as you can see, our comp is a little bit weird. We have a Marks Hunter, we have a Frost DK, and then we also have an Outlaw Rogue. Who I will say, this Outlaw Rogue did crazy amounts of DPS, like absurd. You can see the mobs are pulling over towards us, and he's doing 8 million or so. DK doing a really good job gripping in those surveyors, which is something that not a lot of them do. I guess sometimes DKs tunnel a bit too hard, and they don't grip in the surveyors, so that's another problem. Here, using Ring of Peace defensively, just so that the melee can bounce off of you.
Watch your step.
I'm just trying to keep them stacked for 2 reasons. One, for those bombs, so they can spawn in one place. And then 2, so that we can get the Architect off of his scaffolding, either with targeted DPS or with Cleave. And again, DK doing a really good job pulling over the Surveyor.
Watch your step.
There, I'm trying to tag those
Watch your
divers
step.
just because I'm trying to bring them in closer. I failed at it horribly. I probably would have died there, but you know. Don't do it this way. You can probably wait till they're in a better position and pull them in. But we need to get these down. I'm trying to get them down here just because it makes it easier for us to kill them before we get to the next pull, which has an Architect involved. And the space like is very limited. At least here we have that whole upper platform to move on if we need to.
Watch your step.
There, I'm trying to prep my Ring of Peace in case I need to knock them over when they're casting the bomb.
Watch your step.
And here we're just gonna keep moving to the next section. There, our shaman had to jump across because he was stuck on the stairs. I don't blame him. He did the only thing he could there.
Watch your step.
I'm just trying to make sure that we can DPS everything. And I use my weapons of order, trying to hit as many targets as I can to get the cooldown back up. So this is easy. We get it done. Um, we skipped the pack next to the stairs. We could have skipped this if we had a warlock. We don't. So that's the first skip that we can't do.
Watch your step.
Well, well.
I'm
What
just trying to
have
get
we
everything. Trying to get a little bit of threat on everything.
too far away?
Gruntle. Watch your step.
I'm just trying to drag them away, but also trying to stand not in the same area where our healer is, because once they do the frontals, it gets a little bit dangerous. So there you see, I baited the frontal out in the same direction, away from our casters, from our ranged CPS, sorry, and our healer.
Watch your step.
Just making sure that I'm not putting their lives in too much danger. So that the only ones taking any damage are either the tank or the melee DPS because of the saw blades. I had to use dampen harm there just as a safety precaution. I don't want to use my Celestial Brew here just because it's at 100% and I want to save it for the boss just to get 16 million extra damage on them.
Welcome to the fire and ready.
It's playtime! Playtime!
Defensive. Gruntle.
So there I use it as the defensive and to kind of just offload all of my damage onto Quick Fuse.
Pow! Kapow!
Another thing you can do with this guy, Braun, is you can bait him around so that he hits more bombs when he charges, right? So there he hit all three because we baited him out instead of keeping him stacked on top of Quick Fuse. So we cleared all of those bombs pretty fast. And here I'm baiting him towards Quick Fuse just so that we can get more AoE cleave into it. Okay, so we get these down pretty quick. Normally you would aim for about 9 minutes at most there. Pinging them so I didn't run into those. So, because I'm running a fairly different route, I'm trying to take a look at what's happening, right? So, people are still catching up. The only one ahead there is the rogue. I'm looking at my mini-map, and I freaking die here.
Survival wasn't necessary.
So, I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at the route, and I forgot that that thing blows up and it deals damage. That was so embarrassing.
Watch your step.
Clear this trash, and I'm looking at the map again just to make sure I don't overpull. So the next boss that we're gonna do is M.O.M.M.A. Now, I'm pinging this so that they know that we're gonna go up there. And what helps here is that the more mobs you have, the better it is in terms of the cleave that these the DPS can do, right? So As you can see, I targeted Mama, Celestial Brew for a defensive there, and I AoE taunted my Blackhawk statue to grab immediate aggro on all of these, right? That was a little sketchy there because the Outlaw Rogue did his little dancey dance, and the robot didn't know where to shoot the Sonic Blast, so it was a bit of a bad luck on his behalf. But we did good. It was fine. Now I'm gonna share another little piece of info here for this boss and what makes it easier, right? So, and this was something I had thought about a long time ago, but the MDI kind of solidified it. And also watching Poa, the #1 Brewmaster stream. So what he does is he tanks the boss in the corners of this platform area, right? And the reason for that is because it makes it so that these drones don't fly off everywhere, right? And before we get into that, one thing that I recommend if you want to get aggro on all of these mobs as soon as they drop, just drop a Blackhawk statue and then you taunt it, and then Keck Smash whichever one wasn't in the range of the taunt. So as I was saying, you tank it in the corner because, as you can see, all of these are just flying into us, right? So we're getting as much damage into them as we can, and what the DPS have to do is they just basically have to stand on one of the 2 or 3 open sides to make sure that they get away from everything and we don't get hit by the sonic boom as the rogue did there.
Defensive.
One of the biggest problems that we have here is that the ads are everywhere, so some of them get hit and cleaved at a slower rate. So sometimes you'll get 2 down, and then there's one that has like 70% health, or that's exaggeration, but let's say like 40% health, and then one that has like 15. So it's like everybody's running to the one that has 40% to try and get it down. But this way, as you can see, like all of the mobs kind of fell at a good rate. You don't have to worry about aggroing anything on the platform. Because of LOS, you're not going to aggro anything, so it's fine. As you can see there, again, I Blackhawk's taunting near the ledge there, and I didn't aggro any of the mobs. So again, you can tank them in these little corners just to make sure that nothing is flying around. If they do fly around, they'll fly back, and then they'll bump into the wall there, so like they'll still take a lot of damage. And the only running around that anybody has to do is just the DPS to move the sonic boom. But they have enough space on here, like for example there, the shaman was able to move away, and we could continue DPSing without having to move. And again, all of the drones are downed at the same time, and we can get the most out of this phase because we're just not worried too much about getting hit with the spark thing. But that's something you could definitely do. I definitely like this idea. I thought about it before, but it was discouraged simply because of the fact that people used to say that it was a bad idea to crowd everything around in the corner because the blue swirlies that spawn could hit the DPS and kill someone, or like somebody wouldn't be able to get the sonic boom out in time. But as you can see, that's not the case. For this Blood Warper, you want to rotate your cooldowns. So the first thing I did there was I used Diffuse Magic, and then I used my Ringing Ritual Mud Trinket. And the reason for that is that you take so much damage if you don't have an active defensive, that your healer is probably gonna hate you for it because he has to keep up everyone else and you. So if you're able to keep yourself topped off, you should be good. So this is kind of a big pool. I know a lot of people lust into this. We chose not to. We have the DPS for it, as you can see, the Outlaw Rogue. 1. And then 2,
Watch your step.
it's not too bad of a pool, right? The only threat that we have here is
Watch your
the
step.
Demolitionist and him casting his RPG while the Blood Warper is casting Warp Blood, right? But we have enough AoE CC that we can kind of take care of it. Here we kind of missed it, but it's fine. Everybody moves out of the way. We're all good. I'm not taking crazy amounts of damage. I'm trying to target the Demolitionist there just to see if I can get some CC on it. We're doing okay. We get interrupts. I executed just to eliminate that. And again, there I had to use Diffuse Magic during the Blood Warp just to make sure that I wasn't taking ridiculous amounts of damage. Because you're taking magic damage and physical damage, right? So you don't want to make it harder on your healer. As you can see, we cleared this up pretty good. Didn't have to worry too much about it. And if you look at our timers, most teams or during these runs, you would have Big Mama down by around 16 minutes. So you want to make sure that you're downstairs in the sewers by around 21, 22 minutes. Just because you need roughly around 10 minutes to complete the whole bottom section. That would be cutting it real close. Like, you're on the final boss and like you're cutting it down to have like 10 seconds left or something like that. You know, it's like taking it a lot of into consideration. But the DPS again, Outlaw Rogue, I don't know. I've never done a run with an Outlaw Rogue, but as you can see, it's really busted DPS. Here we didn't have enough AoE CC to stop this. And again, because it's a pug, we also kind of didn't coordinate it well. But I know that we should have had enough to prevent a lot of this damage. So my Ring of Peace into leg sweep, into the Shaman's knock-up totem, into Incap, into the Rogue's blind, right? So yeah, it kind of didn't go too well for us, but yeah. Here they're asking if we're gonna lust this. We can, but we probably shouldn't because our timer means that we're gonna get bloodlust up by around the 22-minute mark, and we should hopefully be out of here by then, right?
Watch your step.
And this boss fight again is pretty simple. Just rotate left during the frontal, and when Awaken the Swamp happens, you use your chi burst to help with the healing, right? It's roughly 1 to 2 mil heal per person that you can pump out. There, I'm just dropping my instant vivify on my teammates. Anything to help out the healer. Again, you don't want to wipe here just because you didn't want to take 1 or 2 seconds to heal a teammate. So, you know, if you can pump out a heal, do it. There, I'm trying to position the boss a little bit better because we kind of were too close to the wall. But again, it's the same thing. Awaken the Swamp, just chi burst into your whole group. That chi burst alone probably negated 1 tick of the Awaken the Swamp. So it could have been 1 tick that somebody could have died from, but you know, every little bit helps, right? And that's the whole fight. Let's watch.
Watch your step. Step. Defensive. Now, over. Watch your step. Watch your step. Step. Defensive. Watch your step.
Alright, Swampface is down, and now on to the 4th unofficial boss here, which is Bubbles. I'm letting them know that we're doing it. I can't skip it. I am a human monk. I am not a brewmaster. This rogue is always so fast. He managed to spawn it real quick, and we're just getting to it. So these bubbles that spawn, if you feel like they're overwhelming the group, there what I did was I diffused magic and then I absorbed some. It really drops the damage on them and it helps clear out the space. There again, always chi bursting to help my group's healer. We definitely needed it there, as you can see. The next thing that I do here is Ringy Ritual Mud, and I absorb some of these. Just trying to clear out the space. I think the rogue did the same as well. I think they used Cloak of Shadows or something. I'm not sure what he used. But as you can see, this is why people don't like doing bubbles, because of the fact that it's very low count and it's a lot of damage that you have to pump into it. It's also a lot of heals, so it's a lot of everything. A lot of time, a lot of heals, a lot of DPS, and low
AOE
count.
incoming.
But sadly, because I'm a human monk and I'm not gonna change to a night elf, we kind of have to deal with it. But the
Watch
DPS
your
is really
step.
good, so we don't have to worry about this. Now, the next thing is those bubbles after it dies, they can't kill you, so don't run into them. I've done runs with people who have run into it and died thinking that it was nothing. So I'm telling them here to run to the end of the hallway so that we can group everything up together, right? Now the only problem with this is that
Frontal.
two things can happen. One, either my group get destroyed by the cast, like there the rogue almost died.
Frontal.
And the other thing is that we also get these inspectors to kind of frontal us at the wrong time. But we're good. All of our DPS is pretty good. Here I think our DK uses grippy hands and he grips in the electricians there. So maybe don't tank it in this corner. You can probably get closer to the other side. I got scared by that minecart, but yeah, somebody aggroed something there.
Frontal.
Could have been the minecart. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But this was just extra count that we didn't need, that we just had to pull in. So without those two electricians, trust me, it's manageable. You can do it. It's not anything that's out of this world. Go pulling the next pack of inspectors. There, our rogue was taking so much damage. I'm not sure why. I think casts were going off on them. So we have roughly about 9 minutes here, which is enough time to clear all of this trash and then to do the boss. But I'm chaining this into this, right? Which is a little bit dangerous, but everybody gets it. You know, you just have to dodge the frontals, right? Just dodge the frontals.
Frontal.
Get some interrupts in whenever you can, and just dodge the frontals.
Defensive.
There I had to ring a piece or else our shaman, sorry, was going to die. He was going to get two casts back to back and he was already low health.
Frontal. Front defensive.
So looking at the footage now, there were times where I probably should have interrupted a lot more. I opted to not do it. I don't know why. I probably was too focused on not getting hit by anything. So this jump starter is dead, and then I'm gonna make sure that the shaman is good before I pull the next one. Asking him if he needs mana. Just trying to make sure that we're good. He's good, and off we go. Normally you wanna kill one first, right? So I'm trying to mark it with a skull. Need to make a macro for this or something, or a keybind. I marked one with a skull, but the other one's already going down. So at this point, it's just like, whatever. Just kill whichever one we can first. Hunter was definitely pumping in this one.
Defensive. 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 Defensive.
Okay, so we're good to go on mana. Everything is good, and we have bloodlust, right? So
AOE incoming.
everything is pretty much set up in our favor. We have 6 minutes. This shouldn't be more than like a 3.5, 4 minute fight on this level, I think. So 6 minutes is way more than enough time. And as you can see, we kind of we definitely have the damage for it. The frost DK was pumping there. I'm not sure what happened to the hunter. His damage was really low for a bloodlust phase, to be honest with you. There got stunned because of the Gigazap, but human racial for the win right there. I'm just jumping across the whole puddles. You don't have to pick a far puddle, just pick a close one so that your DPS can kind of come in and continue DPSing. If you kite it into a really far one,
Defensive.
probably not great. There I aim it so I can get knocked into the stairs there. And then I'm trying to pull him back. Here I definitely lost the DPS uptime, right? Because I timed it too early.
AOE
I
incoming.
went DPS for 1 second, then
Stay
he
away
jumped away,
from
right?
lines.
So
It's working. It's working.
you could probably learn from this and time it a lot better. But that's the whole fight. And again here, if you get a second, cast your chi burst. You have enough time to cast it and then move out of the way.
AOE incoming. Stay away from lines. Stay away from lines.
And as you can see, just like that, we get Operation Floodgate on a 16
Well
down.
done.
Thanks to the rogue Grumzer for the resilient 16 that he had, so we can time it. As you can see, everybody did really good. And here we're gonna take a look at the meters now. I think this is the first dungeon I've done with an outlaw rogue, but look at that damage. It's ridiculous. He was definitely on top of the meters the entire time, so that's a crazy spec. But I hear it's also kind of hard to play. So he was really good. And now for my meters, whenever I show you guys this is so you can see relatively where I'm at on the abilities that I use, but also so you can understand that I am not a phenomenal Brewmaster player, but I'm still timing these keys because I do enough damage and know just enough about the class to not get one shot, but also contribute to the DPS for the run. So you can do that too. And again, my healing meters. Celestial Fortune bugged again because I took the screenshot late. So I definitely need to take a screenshot a lot sooner instead of waiting 10 minutes after the dungeon. Now for the healer's meters, Boki. As you can see there, 27% of his overall was towards me. And in previous videos, I've stated that if a healer has around 33%, you'll be safe enough to do the dungeon. It feels so different with Shaman because though he did 27%, I never really felt like I was in danger, right? I always had an ability to keep myself up, whether it was a defensive like fortifying or a self-healing like expel harm with 3 orbs or more, or even an instant vivify to get me out of a hotspot, right? So that's 16 Floodgate. I think I have one more video which is 17 Workshop that I'll upload. I'm sorry that these are out of order. It's just that during that 1 or 2 week period, I was able to time a couple of dungeons and I kind of recorded them out of order or I did them out of order. For example, 17 Workshop was timed before this, so that's kind of the thing. So I'll upload that later this week. But thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, leave them below and I'll be sure to answer. Take care. Bye.